Hello darlings, my name is Kitty and I am here today with the first video on my new YouTube channel. I thought, about how I would want to break back into YouTube because I have many interests and all that, and there's just so many things to talk about. But I decided today that I would open with something that didn't require as high of camera quality as I would want for something like a makeup tutorial or something like that, but instead go with a personal experience I've had. I don't know about you guys, but I love paranormal stuff. I ghost hunts and you know all that stuff. I personally don't delve into it much, mostly out of fear and concern, because I do not live on my own. I live with my parents and my siblings, and I would never want to jeopardize my family's peace of mind or just peace in general or safety. So I tend to not do so many severe things. I do practice witchcraft, but I am also Catholic, which I know is a really awkward mix. But yeah, so I pretty much daily do things to help keep the house peaceful and cleansed and all of that. But regardless, love paranormal stuff. Absolutely adore it. So that looked like I was trying to show like I'm engaged, but I literally got this for $1 off Wish. Look at that Wish quality though. Also, I forgot to paint my fingernails. Pro YouTuber, let's go. But anyways, so today I wanted to talk about my one really big paranormal experience that is confirmed, set in stone, paranormal. Because you experience things throughout life that you can suspect are paranormal or you feel it is, but a lot of things you can't really be sure. This is the one time that I 100% experienced something, and I have no doubts in my mind. Now, growing up, my grandparents lived in a small town near Lansing. It wasn't a really nice town, but their house was very nice. It was like a kind of a podunk town, but with like a couple beautiful Victorian homes for some reason. I don't know why, but my grandparents' house is very beautiful, very magical place to go visit, especially during Christmas time. My grandma was all about the decorations. That's probably where I get that from. But just a beautiful old home. And we spent a decent amount of holidays there. We lived 3 hours away. Growing up, I did live in Traverse City. So it was a little bit of a drive, so we usually stayed overnight if we did do any holidays over there. Now, one Easter, we were staying there. And in the house, there was a bedroom off the main, entry room, and that's where my parents would stay. Then there was a set of stairs that at the top there was the landing, and then off this way was my grandparents' room, and off this way was my room and a bathroom. Now, I was just always a fearful child growing up, so I always had my door open and always had a light on, all of that. But I don't know why that was important at all. That was just saying that for some reason. But it was Easter morning, and I don't know about everyone else's Easter traditions, but in our house we do get Easter presents. So usually things you go outside and play with, sort of. Guess it's not like Christmas where it's all about what you really wanted this year. Like you got Skip-Its or chalk or that sort of stuff to get you outside, because it's like the start of springtime. And so there was no clock in my room, and I wanted to know, if I could get up, because, I didn't have a phone at the time because I was a small child. It was like 2003, 2004, something like that. I actually can't remember if my brother was born yet or not. But regardless, it was way before common cell phones, and when I was way too young to have one anyways. And so I got up and walked down the landing and looked down the stairs to go down. And as I looked down, there was a woman floating up the stairs. Now, she was very visible She had curly hair and a longer skirt and a cardigan on. This makes me uncomfortable. I didn't think this was going to make me this uncomfortable. Um, and she just was at peace. She wasn't doing anything. Um, this was not like a dark entity coming at me. This was just this woman coming up the stairs. But of course, I was young. I was a very fearful child, and so I ran in my room and hid under the covers until daylight. And the next day, I of course told my mom because that was terrifying. And you tell your mom about that stuff. And she was like, did she have curly hair? Now, I hadn't mentioned what she looked like yet. I just, told her I saw a ghost and I was scared. And she's like, oh, does she have curly hair? I was like, yes, she did. And they told me that apparently before my grandparents before my grandparents owned the house, I don't know if there was anyone between them, but I believe it was the original owner. It was just a woman who lived by herself. And when you first come into the house, my grandparents had a small patch of tile and then carpet in the rest of the entryway. But apparently originally it had just been tile in that room. And apparently this woman one day, she heard a knock at the door. She came down. And I just realized how bad this filming position is. Let me act like I kind of know what I'm doing. Anyways, and so she came downstairs and she answered the door, and it was a young boy begging for money. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have any money to give. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he looks over and he sees that her purse is right there, and he doesn't believe her. So he pushes past her, knocks her down, and she hits her head on the floor and she dies. And I don't really know much more about that story. I'm sure I could probably investigate it, but I've never felt a deep need to. I do think that towards the end of when my grandparents were living there, that she had found some peace because everything had stopped. Because not much was going on, at least to my notice, when they were living there and I was going there. Because apparently when they first moved in, they had a big dog who shed a lot, and they would leave a vacuum plugged in because my grandma's very neat and very clean, so she would vacuum a lot during the day. And at night, the vacuum would go on all the time. They could hear it going on, and they would actually have paintings fall down. And, creepy, but still technically, it's not like a get out. It's like a, hey, I'm here sort of thing. So they had that going on, but I never really experienced that. I don't know if it was just because I was upstairs. Most stuff seemed to be downstairs. But, as I got older and I knew about this ghost, and, you start keeping things in mind more, I never really noticed anything else. And, part of me always wants to chalk it up to, oh, childhood imagination, but I was never told about this. I had never seen anything like this. I always felt comfortable in this home because it's my grandparents' house. And they would never have spoken of that around me. Like I said, I was a very fearful child. I would make my mother take me outside. Now, mind you, I was on the second floor of our home, which had a giant hill in front of it. So no one's sneaking in my window, but I would still make her take me outside and prove that there was no one waiting out there to crawl in my window. Like I was that kid. So they would never have spoken about that to me. Just absolutely never. That would have been a horrible choice on their part. And even for a couple years, the story subsided. I kind of forgot. And then my grandparents took me on a vacation to Pennsylvania to see Philadelphia and visit some family there. And that was when I was in 5th grade. And they were talking about it with our family down there, and it kind of renewed my fear. Like I didn't want to go back. So, yeah. But they don't live there anymore. And like I said, I really think she must have found peace. I don't know if she was just uncomfortable when they first moved in and realized they were not here to harm. I mean, they did construction on the house, but all of it, I mean, my grandparents are very tasteful with their stuff. And, you know, all of that. So I don't know exactly why it seemed to have stopped, but they've been out of there for a decent amount of time now, and their new home is also very lovely, completely different. This home was Victorian, but not Victorian Victorian. It wasn't like hardcore. But I do often have dreams about that house, but the house isn't exactly the way it really was, if you know what I mean. Like everything's a little off, a little more frightening. Something bad is always going on in my dreams. I don't know if that's related, or I do have a tendency to have nightmares instead of just normal dreams or no dreams. So, yeah, that is my one bona fide paranormal story time. I do not intend to make this channel very paranormal just because I know that openly invites spirits and other entities into your home, and I do not want that by any means. I'm gonna sage after this and do a couple things and pray, because these things are not welcome in my home, not especially not with my siblings around. I have a sister who's only 3. So, yeah. But thank you for watching. Please subscribe. I hope that I do keep up on this quite nicely. Probably for a little while it will mostly be reviews and story times and that sort of thing. I don't have a super crazy life, but I'm sure there's plenty of story times I can think of. I'll probably do some gaming videos, because if you can't tell, I accidentally just went like really hard with the gaming apparel today. But there will probably be gaming videos as well. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. All my social media will be in the bio. Love it if you checked me out. Got an Instagram giveaway going on right now. So hit me up, fam. Also, sorry if I keep looking this way instead of at that. I'm filming with my old iPhone facing me. So I just like my makeup today, okay? It's really simple. I'm not wearing foundation. It's very fresh. Okay, God. So my friend is texting me, so. Bye.